Alright, lads, let's just say another wonderful day. Let's just say another wonderful day, you beauty. Pen and paper's been out, laying some things out to give some structure towards governing the momentum of the day. However, you're tuning in because it's a coffee and an insight. Where you are in you will have an effect on where you are. As to will where you are have a passive influence on where you are in you. Why do I bring this up? Why do I give this a share? Has the potential, has the ability to anyone making a decision to tune in, click on the video, press play, stay around for a while, put the kettle on, sip on a tea, sip on a coffee, let my words provide you with a little mental and spiritual nourishment. I bring this up because as I'm sitting here going through, I realise that over the course of close to a week, well, actually today, 7 days. So 7 days ago, I got in at Ironstone. Ironstone Point, 13 hours on the water, and you could say a 50-50 run in regards to conditions. 50% pleasant, 50% not so pleasant. Not so pleasant. A little stressful. I could say a little stressful. So, that being said, over the course of the 7 days, my frustration level has not been as frequent as it was when I was up there in a heavy industrial area. Not the type of place you'd associate being in a marina, right? I think it'd be a bit more pleasant. But anyway, classic, but anyway, I'm sharing with you a reflection on that and something to potentially pay attention to. Right. You're witnessing the evolution of myself, converting myself, creating myself, manifesting, perhaps, the avatar of Captain Kane. The 10 degrees up of who I am and who I seek to be, to obtain, achieve, and accomplish and acquire, okay? So you're witnessing the evolution of that. That is Iron Wake Maritime. Restoring the vessel, restoring the man. Through these trials and tribulations, and paying attention and yet taking the time to observe the self. Another realization is, personally, is that to know is to be willing to truly observe. To truly know is the willingness to truly observe. So to truly know me and know that of me and where I'd rather be, that it's the observations. So where you are in you will have an effect on where you are. So many a times I've changed location. I've think of the thought that if I go somewhere out, then life will be better. Okay. And on many occasions, it is in the short term, but I didn't realize that the landscape, the geography going on in me was going to eventually pull out that in the new environment that I was in. Does that make sense? So you think you go into a new relationship, you start a relationship with someone different. You're thinking that their characteristic traits are going to alter you. But the alteration starts here first, right? Then I'll flip the script. And that can be it too, that where you are, that all these outside dynamic influences, they will alter where you are in you. So I've just noticed since that I've been back, frustration. Okay. We're getting organised, we're getting things done. We're starting to compress our focus and our priorities. Right? Got to get this done, mate. Need to get this done. Things need doing. Okay. And then it's the structuring it. So in the attempt to avoid complaining and relay to you an observation of where I was, let me say there was a lot of noise. Very heavily urban, okay? The outskirts of a city, very industrial area. You've got trucks, you have non-stop artificial light. There's the mentalities. There was a heaviness up there. There was a heaviness in the air, just everywhere. And you can imagine the compound effect of those energies. You know, something just came to thought then. For 180 years, that's a long time. The River Derwent, the full River Derwent has not been able to be traversed, I believe is the correct word to use. Not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. Traverse the river all the way up to New Norfolk. I bring that up because that's an impedance on a flow. Impedance on a flow creates stagnation. So let's piggyback on what I just said then and say that what is going on with me, what has happened with me, that makes sense when I look at it. When I've compressed and blocked off my flow, that it's created a compression and a stagnation, and then an angst and being wound up. Has anyone ever said that to you? Like, bro, you're so wound up. Makes sense, right? It makes sense. And some people say, you got to go fishing, or you got to get out into nature. So where you go, where you choose to go, is of great importance. And see, nature is the place, because I feel I am of the willingness to accept this, that nature is the original. Well, it just is, right? Makes sense. It's the original place where we are all meant to be. Or it's part of it. It's part of it because it's part of a creative energy field, okay? Or higher spiritual intelligence, for sure. And hence why we be in a place long enough like that, it will begin to resonate on where we are in us. So we'll have that passive influence on where you are in you. Because you put yourself in silence. You put yourself in silence long enough, you'll begin to hear all the answers, all the solutions, all the truth. As a matter of fact, actually, you will hear all the truth about you. So driving across Australia and through multiple states for weeks on end, months on end, as a matter of fact, tens of thousands of kilometres on my own. A lot of silence. And I was looking for my place. But that place that I was looking for was in here, or however it works. I think that's just a reference, isn't it? We say in here, in the self. And as I've tuned into that, the nature within, I realised that the nature's outside of me, what interferes and what doesn't interfere. Like what interferes and then what I resonate with more. And how the question might arise then, well, how do you go about that? You need to. I'd suggest this, simply because this is how it's occurred with myself, and perhaps it's the only way it can occur, to remove yourself from where you are. If there is no resonancy, in truth, if there's no, you could say happiness or peace, because really that's what it comes down to. Is a peace. And what is a peace? It's almost like a pleasing, isn't it? It's almost like a pleasantry. It's close. You could say it's almost like a flat line, but it's not a death. It's a complete synergistic tone, is what peace potentially can be, right? Like a hum, or a hue, or an om. It's a lineal sound on a higher vibration. Even though that would be a waveform, that I'm using that as a description because there's no erratic interferences. Okay. So you take yourself out of an interference and put yourself into somewhere where you can then dissolve the interference from that place into this peace in nature. with the birds, the wind in the trees. No phone, nothing. Just you. Just you and the original source, which exists in the self. Hence that feeling. And some people, it's the opposite simply because of the conditioning. It's conditioning. Once you find that moment in that silence, that truth that registers, and you go, the moment that you find yourself in an agreement of the truth that's being presented in the silence, that is the moment you connect with your nature. That's that. You found that peace. That's part of the peace. Then when you go back into a place of interference, that could be the warning, the clickbait thing, warning if you're going to do personal development, you know, you begin to see things. You see, hear, and feel. People could say, oh, you're an empath. Put all that stuff aside. This is just me relaying observation of myself and how that may have the ability to provide a benefit for you. You willing to take this on board and put it into play. Okay. It wasn't the reading of the books that has made me a better person. It was the application of what I read that's begun to arise, come into surface, come into play. The practice. The saying is, whether I am the original of it, I might be. Because that habits practice are practice habits. Or you could flip it and say practice habits are habits practice. Same deal. Habits practice are practice habits. So where you are in you will have an effect on where you are. As to will where you are have a passive influence on where you are in you. As I mentioned, sirens going off, artificial lights, people doing burnouts just non-stop. Like, yeah, it's fun. I get that. For me, that was something you did on the weekend, maybe. And you went out in the bush, out in the state forest. Just, there was a sense, like I said, there was a lot of frustration up there. I'd say it'd be this. In all honesty, there was just so many people in a hurry to go to places where they don't want to be. And that right there can be classed as insanity. You could also say silly and stupid. But it's okay. I was doing the same thing. I once did the same thing. And then it's true. Everything is a teacher. Everything is a teacher. And that. Just a whole bunch of stuff just come right up then. Having that realization. Wow. so true. Everything, say my brothers, fellow kings or lost captains, okay? That's what Iron Wake is, Maritime is about too, is to reclaim your captaincy of you, to steer yourself back on course, and that through these times of adversity, the stormy seas, that we have enough gall to get ourselves back into the bays of peace, to deal with the adversity. And so even though there will be these times of frustration and anger, that where you are and you will have an effect on where you are. So the ability I have is to go in me now, in that place in me, in the nature in me, like I just did then, and have these moments of silence and hear a truth like that. Everything is a teacher. So there's nothing truly to be scared of. Now, you could break that down and go, well, there is, and that, okay, I get that. In general terms, wanting to do something that feeds the joy, this is what I'm getting at. And same as regret. It comes back to a thank you, because that taught me something. Up there with all of the frustration. Okay. It gave me a clarity. It gave me a bit of an open book on where I've been in my own world. And as I said, being in a hurry to go to a place that I didn't want to be at. Being emotionally, mentally, and physically so overly available to a place, okay, that had no resonancy with me, no feedback, no synergy, no harmony. There was not much coming back my way except a paycheck. Right. So is that equal exchange? Potentially not. It's 1/10 of an equilibrium. Not much at all. But we convince ourselves that that's just how it goes, right? Right? That's the conditioning. And the part I'm saying about this nothing to be scared is when there's something in you that says, I want to get out of this place because the way it affects me, it just... So there's that moment from there over into here, there's a void. And it's not a simple straight line. It is a bit of an arch. Because you get there, right, and you're thinking, oh yeah, it's starting to... And then there's a bit of a plummeting. And there is that scare factor. Oh, maybe I'm not doing... Maybe I should go back to it. And I still have these things, okay? Well, I haven't reached the nirvana of this evolution. I may never. I will say I'm 10 degrees up every day. That's the motto. Okay, that's my slogan. That's my mantra, you could say. 10 degrees up every day. There may be times where there is a flat line, and there may be a time where there is a 1 degree. But like a good stock, if you open up the scale, there's a continuous upwards momentum. If you zoom in, yeah, you'll see all the variables. Yeah, fair call, fair call. But zoom out. This is the thing. Zoom in. It comes back to where am I? Where am I looking at me and what I'm doing? If I pan out over the course of this time frame, since my dad's passing, and as I mentioned in a previous video, not being man enough to claim some presence in my son's life, whether it be as a dad or a father figure, or just a figure as a man, someone he can respect, someone he can look up to, someone who he can trust. Because all the title stuff, I'm of the sense that is the ego thing, okay? That's a possession. But my blood is in him, okay? So there is a resonancy. There will always be that sense of, I feel there will always be that sense of the sense of having that privilege, you could say, having the privilege, having that connection, having that line of communication with him. Or even the fact of just being able to see images of his development as a human being, as a boy becoming the teenager, the adolescence, growing up, evolving, going through seeing him go through his seasons. There you go. And that, to me, that's part of the landscape. You could say, if it's in your landscape, like, there's a tree. I'm the tree, right? The seed. In that young fella is that genetic tie. So there's a space in my landscape. There's a vacancy in there. Okay. Went off track. It all ties in. It all ties in. So the man part, that's what this is all about. Becoming a man, like becoming a man in accordance to up there, around here, in here, the nucleus of, say, being a man as nature intended man to truly be. Is that man creates that which is in synergy, in congruence with the nature within and the nature without, the true nature. Not from a social perspective. Society is an artificial nature. It's an artificial nature. It's man-made. You could say, so that it's fake. It's not real. It's not real, okay? It's man-made. It's man-made, okay? It's man-made. And so the real man will have the willingness to create, to push through that, let's say, the fear factor, to feed the joy and alter the effects, and look for that place, so that where you are in you is evolving as I feel it's evolving with me. And something called me down here to Tasmania, and as I've said to quite a few people in passing, I've been travelling for a while, and I've been looking for my place. Right? Nah. It's just, I'm just not resonating with. And I've seen some country. Oi. Bit of swell lines coming through. I've seen some country, and I've become heightened with energies of the land. And I've dribbled and dabbled and always entertained a boat. I never went from here over to here, right? I finally did that. I've still got ways to go. And I'm learning as I go, too. The sovereignty, right? The self-reliance. Slowly implementing these 7 core principles, the Iron Weight Code. And I'll leave a link to that. It's all free. It's all free, okay? So, coming into my 49th spring. So maximise your seasons, gentlemen. Maximise your seasons. As I said in a video, don't waste your winters wanting. Bump it, punch it. Like, bump that which is non-beneficial, punch it. There's so many things I've realizing the truth. And as I realize this truth, there is that it's like that little that emotional thorn gets to come up. Boom. And I dissolve another hindrance in myself. I erode it, like it's gone, and no longer exists. It no longer has a home in me. It no longer resides in me. Gone. See ya. Good riddance. You're of no service to me. I'll write something down here. I'll use that word. Okay. That which is of no service to me need not be something I willingly harbour. That which is of no service to me need not be something I willingly harbour. You know what harbour means, right? in a boating term, to get in the harbour, it's a safe key in the harbour. You're out of harm's way. But for so long, I've kept on to things that are detrimental to myself. I've harboured them. I've kept them out of harm's way, not realising that they're actually harming me. Hello, McFly. Right? Oh, wow. So where you are in you will have an effect on where you are. It will have an effect. The effect is what I see and what I feel and where I am in me. So where I am in me, what does that mean? Well, if where I am in me, where I am in myself is closed off to what I'm telling myself is of a truth, then that's going to play out, spill out, like emit out into where I am. And then where I am will then have a recall and have a passive influence on where I am in myself. It's an echo. If I'm out in the mountain, I say hello, do you get a goodbye back? No. I think the other one I said once to someone, I said, have you ever not heard an echo? Have you ever not heard an echo? The answer is no. Because what is an echo? It's a rebound of sound, or a recoil of sound, or a return of sound. So all these things that I've been doing in my life, that I've whinged about and complained about and cried about, got angry about, got depressed about, and was effing myself up and subduing my creative force as a man within nature, was to do with this. All on me at the end of the day. My unwillingness to accept is another highlight I've realised too. So everything was just a repeat. It was just an echo. Oh, why does this keep happening to me? Why don't I get a break? Because it was where I was in me. It was affecting everything outside of me. So I was just rinsing and repeating for season on season on season. And sometimes I've had those moments where the sky opened up and went blue and the sun come down, and it's like what I call Jesus rays, and then there's like, oh, the sounds of the choir, and life was grand, right? But because where I was more dominant than that. It would pull me back. Okay. Until this travel. Okay. So as I went through all these places, the place in me has slowly evolved. The places outside of me that had these passive influences, but I've been pulling out the goodness. Recognizing what is not good, like really clearly. And also being man enough to go, no, that's not acceptable. It's not an acceptable standard or value within me and outside of me. And then leading myself, okay? finding a way to be the best that I can, to be good, to be great, to be brilliant for me. For me. So that I can then walk on this earth and through space in that state of goodness, of greatness, of brilliance within myself. And if others recognize it, they recognize it. I needn't have my hand out waiting, begging for that validation, that recognition. Don't need it, because it's where I am in me. Where I am in me. Okay. So that's that part with, maybe I have the longest outro on YouTube, right? But be good, be great, be brilliant, be the best that you can, and do what you can with what you have. Like doing what I can with what I have to lead myself, and reminding myself it's a process. It's not a click of the fingers. However, as I said, coming into just gone through a 49th winter, coming into a spring. 49, right? It's a few seasons. So realizing it's about maximizing the seasons, leveraging the seasons, and the quest, achieving the mission will be achieved sooner. That's all it is. That's all it is. The sooner you start, the sooner you get it. Okay. That doesn't mean I'll not get it. And something came up, right? Something came up in the dreams. Was 4 to 5 years. And then you think about it, that's not really that long. You take like 49 seasons and someone says, oh, you only need 4 to 5 seasons and you will achieve quite a lot of things if you feed the momentum. Think of a dripping tap, a consistently dripping tap. Whether it's a cup or a mug, a bucket, that empty space will eventually get filled by that consistent drop of water. It's just simply a duration. But if you've never done it before, if you've never gathered the data, you just don't know how long that will take. But you can have confidence that it will get filled. So you imagine thinking like this, then there's almost nothing to worry about then, is there? Through that, as they say, precise, consistent, committed action towards something, I will obtain it. It will come about. This YouTube, Iron Wake Maritime, Creative Drift, all these ideas, the Sitting Pelican, and all these little ventures. Okay, it's simple like today, getting some order, getting some structure. Go, well, I've got things to do. Group those. Group them. They can get done. What's a priority? Well, because of the rain, we need to get the fresh water. I'm on a wooden boat. Okay, fresh water's not our friend. Great for a shower, but not for the boat. Okay, that's a priority. Okay. Well, we'll just start with them. We can get them done today, that'd be good. You beauty. I'm in a privileged state right now. I'm in a privileged state right now. And right. In all truth, when I look at the way that society is, and this money thing, which is what it is, it's part of the artificial nature. That's the dynamics of the artificial nature. It's an element, just like you got, air, wood, fire, earth, metal, and so on and so forth in the real nature, in the true nature. Money is an element in the artificial nature. It's just how it is. And it's everywhere. It truly is everywhere. And you don't need a license to mine it. How about that? So that part of me is like, oh, there's no drama, really. I need more money. There's so many ways to go about it. Okay? There's so many ways to go about it. All it is choosing a way, or choosing some ways. Right? This is one way, which is a long way. There's other ways, which is a short way. I just go back to cooking. A bit like the Bruce Lee movie. I can always use a good dishwasher. Forgot to wash dishes again too. Thanks for tuning in. And by all means, anything that resonates with you, anywhere in this video, just give it a like or give it a timestamp. Clip a component, maybe clip a component. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram, however that works, TikTok, however that stuff works, right? I just do the YouTube and the Facebook. Then there's the X. X will be coming up. I feel Iron Wake Maritime will do well there. Be good, be great, be brilliant, fellas. Be the best you can, right? In all truth, all honesty, all sincerity, me being genuine to you and real. Be the best you can. It's corny to say, I get it. But yeah, respect yourself. Respect you, love you. I love you, treat you right. Treat you right. It's a form of communication, isn't it? Someone looks at another person, you can see how they treat themselves right. And lead yourself. Lead yourself. Lead yourself to where you want to be. To where you want to be. Or to where you'd rather be. To that you seek to achieve, obtain, accomplish, and or acquire.